Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have you with us, my friend. I'm looking forward to this conversation. We're going to do a couple of segments with you before we get into the training business because, man, that is just booming for you. And we're going to talk about what all you're doing, not just with professional football players and top college and high school athletes, but also just normal people that want to get in better shape. But let's talk a little football. Let's talk about your odyssey to Alabama. I know you came out of Brandon, Mississippi. You could have gone to a lot of different schools in the Southeastern Conference and around the country. And people, I think, look at Alabama now with Nick Saban and think, well, it was an easy choice. But you actually were recruited and signed by Mike Shula in 2006. What was that process like, and what led you to choose Alabama?
Believe it or not, just the whole recruiting process and in general was something new. I was the first kid in my entire, 20 years existence of my school, high school, that was went through the process. I was like the first kid to actually go to a major D1 school, so it was like a different thing. It was a cultural shock. I'm from Brandon, Mississippi, but I'm from a small pocket called Fannin, Mississippi. You can't even find it on the map. So the process was different, and I'll never forget when Bama offered me. Coach Shula, him and Coach Cheese, when I went to Alabama, I got invited down.
That's Charlie Harbison, by the way.
Yeah, Charlie Harbison. Coach Cheese, that was my guy. And I just built that relationship, but they invited me to the camp, and they pulled me to the side. The camp almost absolutely shut down. This DB was talking trash. And me and Tim Hawthorne was there. He actually went to Auburn. And me and him became good friends, and we shut the camp down. And this DB called us out, and both of us embarrassed him. And right after that, Coach Shula pulled me to the side, man. He offered me. And I guess you could say the process was like one of the best decisions. I had not committed there yet.
Right.
But the fact that he had offered me, because I didn't know. Again, I did not even watch college football literally until like my senior year.
Mercy.
So, everybody was like, "You going to Mississippi State, Ole Miss?" And I mean, I didn't even know who Bear Bryant was. So that should tell you a lot, right?
Yeah, that tells me that you weren't much of a college football fan growing up when you don't know who Bear Bryant is. Well, you get that. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I said literally all I knew was NFL. That was my dream.
Well, I'm sure you found out about Bear Bryant pretty quick when you got to Tuscaloosa, though.
Man, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it was literally, I said, somebody named their child Bear. So I got a quick history lesson with that. But I can honestly say, man, that was besides me just getting married, that was probably the best decision I ever made.
Well, it worked out well, but I want to ask you, because you get to Tuscaloosa, Mike Shula, Cheese Harbison, those are your guys. That's who you recruited by. That's who you signed with. And then after 1 year here, they're gone. It's the nature of college football. But it worked out great for you in the long run. But at the time, what were you thinking? I mean, you got 1 year with your staff. They're gone. Nick Saban's coming in. Everybody knew who Nick Saban was, but he had a reputation for being tough, hard-nosed. What were you thinking at that time? Were you thinking, oh, my goodness, this brand new coaching staff, they don't know anything about me? Did you think about transferring? I mean, what was the thought process when Shula was out and Saban came in?
Again, the purpose I went to Alabama was I DJ and Keith Brown were there. They were superstars, and my whole objective was if I take one of those starting jobs, I will be an NFL starter. And that was my mindset. That was my mindset going into it. And when I actually thought about transferring, but I had a long talk with my brothers, both of my brothers, and they were just like, man, there's going to be a clean slate. It's going to simply be a clean slate. They have no allegiance to anybody. So, man, when Coach Saban came in, and I tell you, he ran some people out of there, like just from a mental standpoint. I kid you not, he had us so brainwashed. I felt like I could have went to war with anybody. So he really had us. he created a monster. I don't think he realized what he did within myself. So we had a clean slate. So that next year when Major Applewhite came in, I mean, by the way, was probably best offensive coordinator I ever been around. Like, just genius.
So you were a big fan of Major Applewhite.
And I was sick as a dog when he left.
Wow. Yeah.
I loved him. I guess because I had a relationship with him, and he gave me my first start. He told me when he pulled me to the side my first year, he was like, I'm finna give you this starting job, and don't you ever freaking look back. Not in those words, but some other words behind it. And it was a blessing, man. So I love the offense we ran with him. Now, don't get me wrong, Jim McElwain, Coach Matt, that's my guy as well. But I guess I could have related to Major a little bit better simply because he was a younger guy and had that relationship. But that was my guy.
So you get to Alabama 1 year with Shula and Cheese Harbison and those guys, they're gone. Then Major Applewhite comes in. You love Major. He's gone after 1 year. But you persevered. You wound up starting 3 years, and it all came together. 2008 was a great season, but you came up short. And then in 2009, it just the dream year. 14-0, national championship. You're a starter. But I want to ask you, the 2008 season, I always felt like that might have been one of Coach Saban's best jobs because I just didn't think that was a 12-0 football team. But you were 12-0. And then to have it jerked out from under you in the fourth quarter against Florida, and you don't even wind up winning an SEC championship. A lot of players have told me, yeah, we would have liked to have beaten Florida, but that loss helped us so much in 2009. Sometimes you got to get there and see what it's like, and we learned from that, and that motivated us and pushed us through to that undefeated season in 2009. Is that the way you feel, Mike?
Yes and no. I felt like that 08 year, man, we had some talent. I'm talking about some talent. And I guess you could say, for me, I felt like we should have won both games. Mm-hmm. We should have won that game, but when we lost in the SEC championship, I mean, not the SEC, but when we lost in the bowl game, our mindset going into that 08 season was literally like, bro, we can win this. Like, because once we had got like 6-0, it was like, bro, do you realize like we 6-0? So we were like, man, we really have a chance to take this to the next level. Like, we got a chance to be national champs. So for me, it's almost like, for me, from the standpoint, if I'm not gonna win it all, what's the point of winning? And I know that was a wrong mindset to have, but I mean, like Utah, like I wasn't even studying them. I was still stuck in the mindset of why the freak did we lose to Florida. So, but that next year, that was a no-brainer. That spring going into that year, it was no question that we were going to win a ring. That was literally no question. The air smelled different. It felt different. I mean, we had a mission. Like, we literally fought every day against each other. First team, every day. Nothing was given easy. I felt that year we could have competed with a couple NFL teams.
It was a heck of a year. One thing, too, about the 2008 team, Mike, and you experienced a couple of those losses in 2006 and 2007 to Auburn. Alabama carried a 6-game losing streak to Auburn into that 2008 season. You get them here in Tuscaloosa, you're 11-0, but they, at that point, were still a pretty good football team, and I think it was 10-0 at halftime. It was still a relatively close game. They had missed a field goal. But in that second half, I remember Glenn Coffey having a big game to snap that streak, and not just snap it, but beat them 36-0 and really send Tommy Tuberville off into the sunset because Auburn got rid of him after that. What was that win like? I know you had a lot of great wins in national championship, but how sweet was that 2008 36-0 win over Auburn?
Well, for me, because my top three schools coming out were literally Alabama, Auburn, and LSU. So I told every school in the country when I was getting recruited, if you're more than 5 hours away, like, don't recruit, stop recruiting. I'm a big mama's boy. So those were make and break games for me every time we played Auburn. And I don't even literally believe it. I know we lost with Coach Saban's first year, but the second year, I don't know. I don't even know if he believed it, but he made us believe it. So he was like, they can only do so much. They can only do so much. He said they're gonna run out of it. And that second half, man, that right there. I think that's the difference between Coach Saban and everybody else. Most other people, they win by, they're okay. Most college coaches are okay winning by a touchdown. Coach Saban he literally says, put your foot on their throats. And that's the mindset that I've taken on with, I guess you can say, with my business now. But Coach Saban is I guess he has the psychology of sports down to a science.
He really does. And you were a part of the turnaround and the national championship in 2009. Now, as an alum and a former player, did you expect to see it sustained this way at this level? I know you enjoy it, but are you surprised? I mean, it's one thing to have a big year and then have a big year maybe in 2 or 3 years, but to do it every year the way Alabama has, is that, you know how hard it is to play this game and win. Is that surprising even to you that Alabama has maintained this level of excellence from the time you played until now?
No. When I saw Belichick walk through that office, when he walked through the complex one time, I knew it then.
You knew something was different, huh, when Belichick's in the office at Alabama?
Yes. When you got people, and that's one thing about it, I didn't again, I know I keep referencing about Coach Saban, but the fact that what he said then makes so much sense now. What he said then makes so much sense now to me, just about the company you keep around you. I read a couple books and I listen to a lot of motivational stuff. I listen to a lot of Dave Ramsey, a lot of Tony Robbins. And one of the books I read, it made the most sense to me and it stood out. And I can relate that to Coach Saban now. He said if there's 9 broke people in the room, chances are you're number 10. And if there are 9 rich people in the room, chances you are number 10. So I guess it goes back to that old cliche, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
So you look at the company that he keeps around him, the coaches that he keeps around him on staff, man, it's a no-brainer. Literally, Alabama is almost like the Kentucky Duke or North Carolina's of college football. They rewrote the history book. They have rewritten it.
No doubt about it. Well, Mike, like most players at Alabama that are successful, dreamed of playing in the National Football League, and he did play some professional football, although the NFL did not work out. When we come back, we're going to talk with Mike about his transition from college and pro athlete to trainer, how that came about, and what he's doing now. We're continuing our discussion with a former Crimson Tide wide receiver who has gone on to have a very successful training business at the Warehouse Performance Institute. Let's pick up right there, Mike. You finish up at Alabama. You've got a national championship ring on your finger. You want to play in the NFL. It didn't work out. You did play a couple years of arena ball. Had a chance to play in Canada, but you already mentioned to us you're a mama's boy, so you weren't going that far away from home. But when the football career started coming to an end, and I remember you now when I knew you had an interest in personal training because I used to see it at the YMCA, and you were you were kind of helping out down there then, and you'd worked some with Johnny Jackson here in Tuscaloosa, but I know Coach Cochran really helped open some doors for you as well. Talk about how you kind of evolved and got into the training business after football.
I guess it always has been in me. I go back whenever I used to go home. I used to help the kids around the community, just teach them how to run routes, teach them how to live because we didn't have that growing up. So that's been always something that I've always tried to do, give back. It became natural. My time when I was staying with Johnny, I couldn't afford to pay him, so in return with that, he had me training a couple of his clients. And he used to always tell me, he said, Mike, you got a real chance to do something, man. He's like, you're a natural at this. All right, man, whatever. So this was during my period when I was playing arena ball. So like I said, I couldn't afford to pay him. So I was literally working and training his kids, training a lot of his athletes. He has a successful business out in Tuscaloosa. Coach TJ, always took a liking to him. That's another mentor of mine. And I guess once I had hung up the football cleats, Coach Cochran literally called me like on the Tuesday. No, I called him on the Tuesday because me and him, we had a great relationship at Bama. He gave me a nickname and everything. So we stayed in constant contact, and I called him one day, and I was just like, Coach, I think I'm about to hang these cleats up. I said, I want to be a strength and conditioning coach. He literally said, Mike, that's the best news I've heard in a long time. And he said, if you don't mind being broke for a couple of years, you're going to make a lot of money in this business. And I said, well, I can't get no broker than what I am, Coach. So we laughed, and he rushed me off the phone. And I guess I thought he was blowing me off. And he called me back in like 2 or 3 minutes. He was like, when can you be in Florida? I was like, for what? He said, I want you to go intern down at IMG. And he called Jeff Dillman, went through the little process, man, got me down there. And, man, I have not looked back since. That was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. I learned abundance. And during that time, I was down there, and one of the guys that Alabama still works with, Trevor, what's Trevor's last name? I cannot remember his name, but he's a sports psychologist. I actually still keep in touch with Trevor. But I was down there around the time where guys like Luke Kuechly was down there, Alfred Morris down there, Russell Wilson was down there. So all the receivers, hell, I had to groom them. Those guys became my little brothers. So, and then I was in the weight room with them. I actually started training all of them. And me and Randall Cobb actually played against each other. So he was down there getting some NFL work. And it was just it became a brotherhood. It was just natural. And, man, I built relationships, and I met my business partner down there. Now, like you just said, I went from winning the national championship, getting paid to play football, to sharing a 3-bedroom with 8 guys in there. I've never shared a room a day with my life with anybody. So my business partner happened to be from Birmingham. And, I mean, man, we daydreamed. He was the only guy I ever met who worked just as hard as me. And he had visions of starting up a gym like I did. And the rest is history, man. We started in the basement. I had Marcel Darius and Corey White in the basement working out.
That's an amazing story. I mean, things fell into place. Now, listen, your hard work is why you are where you're at. I understand that. But doors were opened. Coach Cochran makes the call. You go to IMG. You meet all those NFL guys that became NFL guys. And as you said, Ryan Romano, who was a wrestler at Hoover High School in West Virginia, is there. You and he are kind of on the same page as far as wanting to be trainers and have a training institute. And because of his background in wrestling and weightlifting, your background in football, you're able to offer different sides of that industry, and you come together and you decide to open a business. Now, it sounds like a good idea, but how tough was that starting from scratch with really no money between the two of you and coming back to Hoover to start that business? I understand you started out in his parents' garage.
Man, literally, we didn't have anything to our name, so we made a conscious decision. I moved in with him. Everybody told us we were crazy, we were out of our minds, but we were determined. Him and I, we literally didn't have any money to our name, so we didn't pay ourselves for the first 18 months. I mean, we would train kids early as 5 o'clock in the morning, go cut grass from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We would work out, and then we would finish off from like 4:30 to about 7 o'clock at nighttime.
Now let me hear this. Did I get this straight? You trained in the morning, and then you went and cut grass to make ends meet?
Man, I used to put on a hoodie, long sleeves, so nobody would recognize me out there. I mean, man, it was tough. I mean, but we had a vision, we had a dream, and I've had opportunities to go other places and coach college. Be a college coach. But when I realized loyalty, I have somebody who believes in something like I believe in. I couldn't pass that up. You know, I'm fine with what we're making now and what we were making then to get to where we're gonna go. But man, I actually ended up getting my bail bonding license as well. So I used to get up in the middle of the night on top of that and go get people out of jail. So man, it was a journey, man. It's truly a blessing now. But then, man, you talking about some hard work. And then my fiance, my girlfriend at the time, my wife, she was in PA school. So the distance, it was a lot that was on me, man. A lot.
A real entrepreneur, but you persevered, and now today, man, you guys got it rolling. The Warehouse Performance Institute in Hoover is more than a gym or workout facility. I'm reading from your Facebook page. It's a place where the motivated come to improve and learn from experienced individuals. We take pride in our ability to help anyone and share our knowledge of the sports performance world. Be ready to work harder than you ever have before and be able to see results quickly, because hard work's easy work. You offer strength and conditioning, speed training, health and fitness, of course, football training with you, wrestling training with Ryan. And also you work with men's and women's basketball training, track work, MMA, baseball, and many more. So from those humble beginnings, you guys got it rolling now, man.
We on our way. The vision is, man, literally to have Disney World of Sports. That's what we want. I've trained every sport. I've been fortunate enough to travel places I never thought I would go. And I teach a lot of these kids how to believe in themselves, man. I've dealt with kids who are autistic and went from not even playing to actually starting on the team. I've rehabbed people and got them back 4 months ahead of schedule. The sky is literally the limit. We just teach kids how to believe in themselves, man. We've had kids who had parents who have committed suicide. This is everybody who comes to our gym literally has become our family. Some of the kids have come close to me like my little brothers. Even the pro guys, I tell them, I said, my pro guys come in pros, they leave professionals. My young men come in young boys and walk out in the college as men. And I turn pups into dogs. Simple as it is. This is something that I believe in. I'm not trying to be arrogant by any means, but I feel like if you give me any athlete, I can out-coach anybody. And I tell Cochran all the time, that is one of my mentors, Coach TJ, Johnny, everybody. I say, I'm on your heels like a flip-flop. I'm coming for you.
Your heels like a flip-flop.
And man, it's a journey. I'm enjoying the ride, but this is just only the beginning. I'm tired of our athletes in the state of Alabama going to Florida, Arizona, New Jersey to go train when you have this is what I'm trying to offer here in the state of Alabama. We even give free seminars about NCAA recruiting, what it takes to go to college, all the requirements. We have several speakers. Just been blessed, man. I can honestly say just truly been blessed. They're going to actually even air the ESPN story about Trent this next week on August 4th.
Well, that's where I was going to go. Mike, you've worked with a lot of NFL guys, college guys, top high school guys, but, I had Trent in studio with me not too long ago, and, he shared with us how he has a dream of getting back to the NFL, but to do that, he had to get in the best shape of his life. You helped him with that. Now, we know he's on the physically unable to perform list right now with the Ravens because of a knee, but talk about that process. He looks, to the average person, he would have looked good anyway, but you really, really leaned him up. There's a before and after picture that you did Talk about working with a guy that's that motivated at that high a level to get it to a point where the Ravens were willing to sign him. What was that like?
The biggest thing was, man, I had to talk to Trent on a level where it's a friend, big brother, and somebody that cares for you. I talk to him like, I tell him all the time, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I said, man, you are simply on the verge of never playing it down again. So make up in your mind what you want. Do you want this or you don't? What is your why? He told me his why were those kids that he had, his little girls and his son. He said, I got to redeem myself. And me and him, we sat down. We came up with a plan. Before he even worked out, we sat down for an hour. He was almost into tears, man, because I told him, I said, the reality of it is, man, they're considering you the biggest bust. And I said, I know you can play. I've seen it. I used to give you a pep talk before the game, so I know it's in you. So my job was to bring it out of him. So it wasn't that I didn't do anything special, man. It was just simply I asked the right questions. And once I asked the right questions, and I'm going to run you in the ground. We're going to work. That's a no-brainer. But he was motivated like no other. We even developed the 10 Commandments for Trent Richardson this season. Worked out almost twice a day. I made him weigh in every morning, weigh out. I called him. I was on the phone with everybody that was around him. I need to see him and make sure that he's doing. So his friends at the time, I made sure y'all got to eat right too, because if y'all eat bad, he's going to eat bad. So everybody bought into him, and he had to get away from negative people. He really just had to get back to self. And he had to fall in love with the game again, and that's simply what he did. He fell in love with the game again. And I actually talked to him day before yesterday. We FaceTimed for about 10 minutes. So I talked to him every other day. So I plan on flying up to Baltimore here in the next 3 weeks to get him back ready for hopefully the first or second game of the season.
All right, Mike, you continue to have a relationship with him. As I mentioned, he's on the PUP list right now. You're going to get up there to Baltimore. In your gut, do you think he's going to make it?
Oh, without a question. I would not be surprised if he'll be Comeback Player of the Year. I'm not just saying that. Trent will, if he gets that knee back 100%, because before he got down, people don't realize Trent was like almost 2. He was right at 240. He got him down to 260. He hadn't seen that since he was in high school. So I've seen him. The kid is on a mission. So there's no question, can he go? The question is just, are they going to hand him the ball enough? Because he going to look like he was when he was at Bama. I can assure you that.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. You've done some amazing work, man. It's a great story from Northwest Rankin High School near Brandon, Mississippi, the University of Alabama, to the Arena League, now to the Warehouse Performance Institute, where you're working with NFL guys like Trent Richardson. One final quick question. I know you didn't do it, and Richardson's trying to get back, but even guys in the NFL, it never ends. You can be successful, but Eddie Lacy hit the wall last year, got way too heavy. Mike McCarthy called him out. What did you think of Lacy going to work with Tony Horton, P90X, in the offseason?
I think that's good. You got to do whatever works for you. But difference between, I'm not trying to boast back, but whatever I do is sports related. And a lot of it is, I was actually trying to reach out to him. I wish he would have came to see me. So I still want to get him next offseason. So if you talk to Eddie, tell him Mike McCoy said he needs to get down here.
I'll do that, Mike. Hey, tell the folks before I turn you loose, because I know we're talking a lot about the athletes, but you and Ryan there at the Warehouse Performance Institute, regular people can train with you guys too, right?
Yes, we have a general class. Everybody wants to look like athletes, so we train them. We have a general class. We have your everyday mom and dads to kids young as 6 or 7 in the same class, and we actually have a couple of All-American basketball girls that work out in that class as well. Ryan is actually over that class. I'm over the athletic class, the complete game. And I literally take all my athletes through college program. I rewrite everything, put them on college keep numbers, and we literally grind every freaking day. So
I hear you, man. Great stuff. Get in touch with Mike there at the Warehouse Performance Institute if you're interested in some training. Enjoyed the insight. Enjoyed catching up. Continued success, my friend.
I appreciate it. I will see you soon.